of Purdy. This is still a radar indicated tornado warning. All right. All right, there it is, Ruler. This would be just a few miles southwest of Monette. Looks like 3 or 4 miles, say 4 miles southwest of Monette, anywhere from 4 miles or so to the northwest of Purdy, where that circulation is. Still a radar indicated circulation, so it has not been confirmed, but we have seen that tightening up take place for us over that last scan. So this is a storm that came out of Fairview, and it's now continued its way into parts of northwestern Berry County, getting close to Highway 37. We'll turn on a time loop here. So there you go. It really wasn't look like much. We had, some strengthening of that line, more definition near the county line, back to the western Lawrence County. And then as it moved that next scan over, you can see it tightened up by quite a bit. You got the colors now fighting each other. That's winds going in different directions. So that signifies there's a rotation element there. And so blues and greens are towards the radar. Reds would be away from the radar. So we have that discoloration, the colors fighting each other. You got winds kind of dancing around, blowing in different directions. That's how we can tell that, hey, there's a potential tornado here, at least some kind of circulation. Next update came in. It's still a radar indicated tornado, and it's moving to the east at 60 miles an hour. That has not changed for us on this warning. Keep on jumping around. Where are we getting close to? So if this storm holds together, okay, looks like we've got a third tornado warning now.
Yeah, that's a Berry County third tornado warning. So 3 tornado warnings at this moment. The movement on that, Tom, is also east at 60 miles per hour. So this is really starting to pick up some steam as it's getting closer to Highway 65.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Matt. Okay, so the one here, we're going to say there's 2 in Berry County. The one up in Lawrence County has really kind of faded away. Still a little bit of a bright spot there with some gusty winds. Very weak circulation, though, south of Scott City, just to the west of Freestat. That's one weakening storm there, weakening trend, but still need to pay attention. If you live in Freestat, live in Mount Vernon, Hoburg, pay attention, get inside, get away from the windows, get to your safe spot if you can, as that little circulation there continues to move up I-44 just to the south of the interstate, Freestat, Hoburg, Mount Vernon, moving towards Highway 265 in Lawrence County. Jumping down to the one next. Okay, this is northern Berry County, just about 2 or 3 miles to the southwest of Monette, 2 or 3 miles northwest of Purdy, getting ready to cross over Highway 37. That's another circulation. That one's the most obvious. You can see it there as plain as I can. Jump down to the one in parts of central Berry County now. That includes Cassville. A little less clear, okay, but there looks like there's some circulation trying to formulate right about here, just to the west and southwest a little bit of Butterfield, and to the north and northwest of Exeter. Okay, so Cassville, you're included in the warning. A stout wind line coming your way regardless of the tornado threat. But that circulation there looks to be about right there, be to the east of Wheaton by a few miles, and just to the northwest of Cassville. All right, folks down at Roaring River State Park, if you have friends and family who are staying there for the weekend, they are not in the tornado warning technically, but it's close enough. And either way, you're going to find some gusty winds, lightning, and heavy rain. It may turn into a roaring river later on as heavy rain moves on through. We've had rainfall rates today, Matt, I think of up to 3 inches per hour in some of these storms.
Some locations has picked up, 3 to 4 inches of rain in just a short amount of time. That's been the story for really to start this week off, where we had so many flooding concerns on Sunday and Monday. This is going to be a similar effect where flash flood warnings have been issued along the I-49 corridor. It's really a 3-pronged attack. We're focused on the tornado warnings because that's the most immediate danger, but winds have been gusting up to 70 miles per hour, causing power outages, and then flooding's another concern that's going to be in the wake after these thunderstorms. So 3 tornado warnings at this moment, fast winds for really everyone that's experiencing these thunderstorms, and that's going to continue to pick up, getting closer to the Springfield area. I'd say in Springfield, about an hour until it gets really the heart of those storms get on top of us. But I am checking for kind of a CC drop, especially if the middle tornado warning north of Purdy. I think that's the strongest. I haven't seen one in the latest scan, and I keep trying to check that because all these tornadoes right now have just been radar indicated, nothing confirmed at the time. It's really hard to tell just how fast these winds are moving throughout here. gusts 60, 70. We've gotten reports of up to 80-mile-per-hour winds as well, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a windy day. I know Kansas City got hit pretty good with some thunderstorms there earlier on as this line was making its way through the KC Metro. And now we're getting the leftovers down here, and they're just still packing a punch. Winds of 60, 70 miles an hour coming through southwest Missouri. Or previously had 80. Reports come in, so these storms have a history of producing some pretty strong winds. And right now I'm looking for any signs of debris, like Matt was saying, kind of tough to tell. You see these brighter colors, that's what we're looking for, but they have to line up where the circulation is, and so not seeing anything yet. That circulation, again, was about right here. Nothing really showing up for us there on your debris tracker. All right, so if we jump back in, take a look at radar, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. So we have this Boeing segment still, and there's a boundary here. Okay, and this was kind of the main headline for most of today and yesterday, leading into today, was that there was going to be a boundary across southwest Missouri. And where that boundary was going to be the cutoff point of the lower severe risk and the higher severe risk. We've seen the higher risk to the west and southwest of that boundary, which extends right here, where this surge is happening. We have this Boeing shape that is right along that boundary. Okay, so the storm strength is favoring, kind of pooling up right where that stalled boundary is. So most of the storm is going to keep on riding kind of more south to southwest, south to southeast, that is, traveling to Bentonville, Berryville, Eureka Springs, and so kind of making a dive further southward. But on this leading edge here, this kind of S-curve, you got these winds from the south feeding in. You have more of this, perpendicular wind direction there. And that's where we're kicking up these little spin-up circulations within this Boeing segment on the right side of the bow. All right, so turning back on your velocity, see how things have evolved for us over the past 5 minutes or so. Okay, so things become a little bit more clear. I think, Matt, looking at this, the Lawrence County storm, I don't really see anything defined here.
That's definitely the weakest out of the three. And
yes,
that was a lot stronger, 15, 20 minutes ago? And that's evolving in the best way where it's starting to weaken as this progresses. I do want to mention Springfield, Greene County, Christian County, Stone County, Taney County, parts of Polk County as well in a severe thunderstorm warning right now that just got issued. We're expecting this to really pick up within the hour. So nothing tornado warned in those locations, but Christian County, Stone, really the metro area is up next to get kind of the brunt of these storms that are about to come knocking.
Yes, and that main thunderstorm warning in the Springfield Metro includes 70-mile-an-hour winds. So very fast winds coming into the area here. Okay, so that's kind of the big picture there. It looks like it's going to Christian County, Stone County, Taney County, Nixa, Ozark, Highlandville, Galena, Branson West, Reed Springs, and Branson, all going to find themselves in that path of 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds. Tornado risk is right here. It looks like we have 2 circulations that we can identify. Might even be a third one trying to come together there. But south of Monette, it's now crossing near Highway 37. Okay, so from about the Monette area, that's tracking mostly to the east and maybe slightly northeast a bit as it tries to occlude north some. That circulation may fade away like the one we saw earlier, so it may just go down the line, one fading after another. Right now, south of Monette, that's where your storm circulation is for that tornado potential storm there. Near Butterfield, a little bit of circulation trying to organize there. Either way, there'll be some stronger winds. And also down just to the west of Cassville. Okay, so Cassville westward, right about there, a little bit of a kink there in that wind structure, and that could be a potential spot for another area of circulation that would have just gone through Exeter. That one's not as organized, however, but there are some strong winds in that wind line. Let me try to see if I can clear some of this out for us and maybe get some wind speeds. Okay, got to do that first, and then do this. There we go. Let's click it. There we go. Wind speeds are radar about 57 miles an hour. Let's go up here near Butterfield. Winds estimated by radar 65. So you're still going to find winds in here of 60 to 70 miles an hour at times, gusting on those stronger portions of that line. Mixed in with that tornado threat. Okay, let's clear all that and zoom back out and see what we got here. Okay, so we got the areas of circulation. Looks like an updated warning in Lawrence County. Canceled in Jasper and Lawrence. Okay, let's see here. They're continuing the one for Lawrence County for the time being. Okay, they just shaved off the backside of that. Okay, so now we're focusing mostly on Berry County. Okay, so if you're in Lawrence County, if you live in Aurora, yes, Mount Vernon, if you live over in Hoburg, you can see here it's not that developed, okay? You're in a warning technically, yes. It's a weakening storm system, though, weakening circulation has crossed out of Newton County and into Lawrence County. From Freestadt, Hoburg, Mount Vernon, Stock City, Chesapeake, Aurora, Marionville, just seeing some gusty winds and some heavy rain. The main circulation is now going to be south of Monette, and I really want to focus on that one especially, as it's getting south of Monette, and Monette's a fairly large town, city. Pleasant Ridge, also going to find in it Highway 60, all right, Highway 37, just to the southeast of Monette. That little circulation right there. So you have a little pocket of red, little pockets of blues kind of dancing around each other. It's pretty broad, but it is enough to warrant, hey, guess what? There could be something that makes it down to the ground out of this. Now, that has not been reported yet. These are all radar indicated for right now. Let's take a look at exactly where that is, how far. I'd guess probably just a mile or two to the southeast of Monette. Yeah, maybe 2 miles, mile or two. South side of Monette, south of Highway 60. That's where the strongest part of the circulation is for the time being. And that's going to be moving off towards Pleasant Ridge. Okay, the latest scan there kind of fades it away. Okay, so what do you know? So looking south of Monette, from Fairview is where it came from, developed there as it got close to Highway 37, kind of tightened up. Next scan southeast of Monette, it was still kind of lingering but fading away. And now near Pleasant Ridge, the latest scan came in. You notice the colors have faded yet more, but still enough circulation there certainly can get some spin-up activity, even though it is a weakening system. So you don't want to say the all clear just yet by any means. Pleasant Ridge, though, over towards Aurora, this may just go to the south sides of Highway 60 from Pleasant Ridge down to the southern sides of Aurora, okay? Now let's focus on the next one down the line. Let's pause that. And we can see another circulation possibly trying to get organized here. This is south of McDowell, okay? This could be something to watch, too. Another little spin-up circulation coming out of Butterfield, moving to the east and northeast, okay, from south of McDowell, heading towards Highway 39. New tornado warning just issued for that. And this might just go to the north of Jenkins by another mile or two, crossing Highway 39 here in the next couple of minutes for that circulation there. All right, so that does include, again, parts of Berry County. And zooming on down the line a little further, we'll jump back up north here in a second. Central Berry County from Cassville towards the east. It's not as organized as defined wind line, though. You'll have winds of 70 miles an hour in this strong line here. Okay, and that's going to come knocking down to Roaring River State Park as well. Okay, so you're going to find some fast winds, some damaging winds possible from Roaring River to Eagle Rock over towards Emerald Beach and Shell Knob. All right, some damaging winds there. Tornado risk be somewhere in this line. It's pretty faded in terms of rotation, okay, but there is enough damaging winds that I'd be paying attention to that too. Now, there is some rotation to keep that tornado warning ongoing. All right, zooming back up north, this is the one that's really starting to organize for us out of the warnings. South of McDowell, over towards Leanne and Jenkins. Let's take a look. Matt, anything you'd like to point out?
I would just like to say Cassville. Probably the worst that you're going to get all night is what's happening right now. I know that's a pretty big population over there. Not seeing anything tornadic in Cassville, so that's the positive part. But the worst of the storm is what's happening right now. I know Cassville is kind of on this tornado warning polygon. I'm not seeing anything that would indicate a tornado on the ground at this moment, but winds are fast. I imagine there may be some people in Cassville about to lose power as well. Rain is going to be picking up. Thunder, I imagine, is going off like crazy. So in Cassville, the worst of the storm system is what's moving through. In Purdy, you guys were just in that tornado warning. You're now out of it. If you are watching from Purdy, I think it's safe to get out of shelter. And even with Monette, if you are in Monette, I would stay in shelter for just a minute or two. But that worst of the storm is starting to move out of your area. It's really in Berry County where things are intense, and also in Lawrence County. We still have I'm not seeing anything in Lawrence County that's screaming a tight rotation, that's screaming a tornado on the ground, but the elements are still there, and really that rotation, if there was going to be something in Lawrence County, it's closer to I-44. So this is that main area that we're working and watching right now. Thunderstorms about to spill into Springfield. I imagine we're going to get some rain right now, but really the heart of these thunderstorms, the worst of it, is going to be here within about 45 minutes, if not even sooner. This system is It's been picking up strength, Tom, over the last hour. We have 3 tornado warnings at once, and hopefully we can get it to die back down, but it hasn't been showing too much signs of that.
No, not quite. It's certainly picked up intensity in this Boeing segment. We're seeing a lot of strong winds blow through. Let's get our bearings here real quick. So zooming on out, let's get a big picture, kind of get things stabilized again. So rain and flooding. Flooding left over from the rain back southeast Kansas, western parts of Missouri, including areas of Joplin, Lamar, and Nevada. Heavy rain there. That heavy rain now blowing in to parts of southern McDonald County, Berry County, Lawrence County, into parts of northwestern Arkansas from Bentonville, Rogers, and Fayetteville. Heavy rain and storms going on there. A lot of lightning in this storm. It's like Matt was saying, you might find some power outages from lightning and from damaging winds. Back up to the northeast and parts of central Missouri, from Lake of the Ozarks to Camdenton, to Orange Beach, to Osage Beach, to Lebanon, over towards Hermitage, Warsaw, Stockton, back to Nevada. You're going to find some rain, some thunder and lightning, but nothing severe. Okay, Springfield itself, here is a severe thunderstorm warning included for the town of Springfield as that storm line moves on through into the metro area. Winds of probably 60 to 70 miles an hour are going to be a possibility with those storms in the Springfield area. As we go down south, Stone County, Christian County, Taney County, and yes, of course, Berry County, winds of 70 miles an hour blowing in on the eastern edge of that Boeing segment there. As that surges through, we're going to find a couple areas of rotation force come through with that line. And so with that, we've had a few tornado warnings issued, and they have at times kind of pulsated. We've seen rain and storms, and the wind element of that kind of go up and down. I think what's going to happen next, we've seen this twice already. We had the circulation in Lawrence County. It faded away, all right? As it started to get kind of on the northern side of that Boeing segment, it went away. We had another circulation develop that was from Whitworth to Freestat. That also, once it got a little farther north, it faded away. Next up, we're seeing this circulation here, the one that was north of Purdy, south of Monette. That's what's left over. It, too, has started to fade away as it gets to the northern side of that Boeing segment. It's kind of occludes. It gets pulled in, dynamics change, and the tornado can't survive, or the rotation can't survive. Now what we're looking at is another 2 areas of rotation. There's one here. All right, this would be south of McDowell. McDowell's about right here. So south of McDowell by maybe a mile. This is moving east and northeast. We'll see. The latest scan should be coming in just a moment. That's going towards Highway 39, south of Aurora, north of Jenkins. All right, and aside from the tornado risk, going to get some pretty strong winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour. There's also a little circulation possible down here, okay, just to the east of Cassville, north of Highway 76, near Highway 248. Okay, just to the east and northeast just a bit of the Cassville area. Otherwise, the stronger circulation here is going to be south of McDowell. But again, what I think is going to happen, we'll see how this plays out. We've already seen this happen twice. I think as the storms continue to move, they'll fade away. And this one's faded away a little bit more as we get the latest scan in, as it's moved a bit more to the north and east. Highway 39, northwest of Jenkins. There's your circulation left over. Stuff down here just to the east of Cassville. That's not too organized in terms of rotation and spinning, but certainly going to be enough to warrant, well, we've had these things before. So, yeah, folks over in Haley, Lamar, Mineral Springs, Shell Knob, yes, fast winds, maybe a spinning element there. Wheelerville, Schulten, Leanne, Jenkins, McDowell, it's now past you, up towards Sage Hill. You're going to find that tornado warning. If this continues, this area of rotation, which it has weekend in the last scan, we'll see what happens in the next 5 or 6 minutes. What happens is this storm's going to keep moving eastward. It's going to head towards Crane, Elsie, eventually Hurley, okay, and maybe Galena as well. Okay, you're going to find that area of circulation, granted it holds together, it's going to be coming over into parts of northern and northwestern Stone County. Let's put a track on this and see where it's going, what time it's going to get there. So again, this is going to be coming out of Berry County and go into Stone County. If this continues, we'll take it up to Highway 65. Why not? Leanne, 12:15, 2 minutes. Okay, so Leanne right in the, it's knocking on your door. Elsie, 12:24. Hurley, 12:29. Ponce de Leon, 12:35, and then Highlandville about 12:40 after midnight. Granted, that holds together. It may fade away as it starts to move north. It may kind of weaken as it starts to move away from that boundary. Again, all these circulations have kind of formed right along the boundary, and that boundary actually takes a curve down this way. Okay, the boundary goes to the south and southwest. So this storm keeps moving east. It's going to get away from that boundary into a less favorable environment, and there'll be a weakening trend as that happens. That's what we've seen. That's what's going on. All right, let's clear that stuff. Zoom out again, see what's happening. Okay, severe thunderstorm warnings continue. Kind of a broad paintbrush of warnings going into northwest Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma. Winds there of 70 miles an hour, possibly higher at times. And also extending into Stone County, Christian County, Taney County. There's a severe thunderstorm warning there to account for a strong pocket of winds coming out of Berry County. It'll just blast over, and that could produce winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. Severe thunderstorm warning in Springfield right now in the Springfield Metro, and that is also for 60 miles an hour occasionally. And once you go northeast of there, once you get into like Buffalo, Lebanon, over towards St. Robert, Fort Wood, Camdenton, Max Creek, you're finding rain and storms, non-severe. Thunder and lightning, heavy rain, yes. Damage expected out of that, minimal, okay? There'll be some damage, though, down here to the south and southwest, especially where you have this Boeing segment. And it looks like they did drop one of those tornado warnings. Is that correct?
The middle one got dropped. Tom, I do want to provide an update on power outage. If we go to the power outage map, because it's really been kind of a big concern of this. Over in Jasper County, 8,800 people without power. I'm hearing reports of power lines that are just down throughout the city of Joplin. Butterfield's another area that is also experiencing power outages. This map's on your screen right now, and a lot of times it lags behind. It's almost like we're getting the information of what happened a half hour, even an hour ago. And you can see most of those power outages were along I-49 where these storms were focused. And then as it creeped a little bit further into the east, we're getting power outages now in Berry County and parts of Lawrence County with reports of some damage. So we have this tornado warning, and the main impact that's causing is it's knocking down branches, it's knocking down power lines, and it's also causing flooding as well. You're also seeing the damage that this system caused up in Kansas City. Throughout the state, I believe close to 70,000 people are without power. So the main threat is that tornado warning with the fast winds knocking down power lines. If you do come across a power line that is down in the road, don't mess with it. Just call emergency services. They will be taking care of it. And make sure you just want to turn around. Don't even attempt to drive over it.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Good update there. Yes, power outage is going to be kind of a problem with this. Okay, you may likely lose power, especially if you're in this strong area of winds down across southwestern and western Missouri, from Aurora to Jenkins to Shell Knob to Emerald Beach, and carrying on southward into parts of Carroll County towards Berryville, parts of Eureka Springs, near Beaver Lake. Okay, you're going to find some strong winds there too. And this is all going to move into Crane, Elsie, Hurley, Galena, Cape Fear, Reed Spring, Branson West, Kimberling City, Branson eventually. Okay, it's a good thing this is happening tonight, not during the parade tomorrow. This is going to blow through with some stronger winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. We'll see if that tornado threat persists as the storm complex moves eastward. Again, the farther east it goes, it'll get away from the boundary. But I think as this storm complex overall takes more of a south to a southeast dive, we'll probably still hang on to a chance of seeing those brief spin-up circulations within those lines. Okay, let's take a look. We've got, let's zoom out a bit. So we have really just this one area of circulation. Let's jump back up to Lawrence County because there's still a tornado warning happening in Lawrence County. But I look at this, Matt looks at this, and we have a difficulty trying to define where it would be. It's kind of messy here. There was a circulation earlier on that prompted this tornado warning, and rightfully so. And now it looks like it's more spread out. Wind speeds have dropped dramatically, but still going to be a severe thunderstorm warning at the least across Lawrence County. Gusty winds, maybe a light rotation. That would be Mount Vernon to Chesapeake is where the leftovers of that would have been. And meanwhile, there's also another rotation south of Aurora. This is near Highway 39, This circulation here has weakened from the previous scan. It was Butterfield, and Matt, you said there were some reports of power lines down in Butterfield?
Power outages in Butterfield.
Outages.
I've heard of lines down in Joplin. That's where that was at.
Okay. All right, so there's the power map for you. Yeah, Joplin did have some pretty significant storm go through. They had a tornado-warned storm go through. They had some lot of trees down, which can, of course, knock down power lines, and also power lines down themselves from fast winds and some lightning strikes, all that kind of stuff. And a possible tornado around Joplin earlier on. We'll see exactly how that shakes out. Okay, but here we go. So Butterfield had some damage, I imagine, power out, maybe some tree branches and limbs, things of that nature. Probably going to have a few of those scattered across town. There'll be a lot of spots that see tree limb damage as this damaging wind line blows in. Those bright, brilliant blues there, that's kind of the top of the scale for the winds. We're talking probably 70 miles an hour or so, around the leading edge, winds of 70 miles an hour. And within that, you may find these weak spin-up circulations embedded every once in a while. Okay, so the one near McDowell, I guess moved on from there now, north of Jenkins, outside of McDowell, that circulation's fading away. Still a little bit there, though. That's going to go towards Wheelerville, Crane, Elsie, possibly Galena. As we jump down south to Haley, okay, this is Highway 76 and Highway 39, kind of that intersection. That's going to go towards Cape Fair, Reed Spring, Branson West. There's not much there except damaging winds and a little bit of a turning element there, slight turn. Oh, perfect, latest scan. Right there's where we're looking. Looks a little bit more clear there. A little bit of a turn right there now. This is now be east of Haley, approaching Cape Fair. Okay, right up Highway 76, going from Haley to Cape Fair. All right, so we're going to be staying north of Table Rock Lake on this one, just a bit, as that makes its way there. The circulation up here in northeast Berry County, getting into parts of western Stone County, circulation has loosened up. Not nearly as tight right here. See the differences? Circulation from Jenkins area, kind of washed out. Still strong winds, damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour from Crane to Elsie to Hurley to Galena. Still going to find some wind damage probably and some power outages as that storm front moves in out of Berry County into Stone County. But the tornado risk there has faded away. Now, strong winds can still cause a lot of problems. You still want to get inside your home, okay? Get inside. Get away from the windows. Close the curtains if you got them. Keep the outdoors out on a day like this. Okay, back up north again. Let's zoom out and get our bearings here real quick. No, let's scratch that. I got a tornado warning. North of Shell Knob, Cape Fair, there's your area circulation, the stronger winds, and the tornado potential even right there. Highway 76 to the southeast of Jenkins, going towards the Cape Fair area. Might hold together for Galena, but either way, you're going to get some strong damaging winds with that storm line. Let's zoom out a bit, and they have not continued that warning into Stone County. So the tornado warning right now has not been extended into Stone County.
And Tom, speaking to the National Weather Service, they don't have plans to extend either one of these tornado warnings. They have gone with a tornado possible tag on kind of the downstream severe thunderstorm warning. So hopefully it continues to stay that way. They're going to want to ride this out. I think it expires in about 7 or 8 minutes. So if things continue to progress the way that they have been, that's on a weakening trend, we could get out of here without any additional tornado warnings. I do want to mention on your screen right now, I have the hail tracks, and it's the one thing we haven't talked about, and we haven't talked about hail because we haven't really been seeing that. I know people in this area are kind of gun shy from all the hail that we got throughout May. You may have gotten a new roof, you may have gotten your car fixed, maybe some pea-sized hail. I don't think anything beyond that is really into the mix with this system. It's just the fast winds causing power outages. That's really the main concern, and also the flooding rains that are going to be on the backside of this, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. Hail, not a big deal. Thank you, Matt. Good update. Wind is a big deal with this one, and all kinds of varieties of wind, and flooding, too. We have I haven't looked at this yet. Let's take a look at the rainfall we've seen out of this, right? So we have the severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings ongoing. We'll see how those continue on. But the rainfall is another big story for us. Let's clear some of that. Whoops, wrong one. The other rainfall is the other big one for us. Let's get rid of those. There we go. And we can see here, especially back up to the north and west, man, you see those dark reds and purples. You're talking 4, 5, 6 inches of rain from areas of Pittsburgh, Kansas to Webb City, Carthage, south of Lamar. You got Lockwood, Dadeville, Greenfield, Mount Vernon. Heavy rain and storms there that left behind 3, 4, 5, even 6 inches of rain possible. So we do have the flooding element. Look, check up here. Now, there is a flood warning, I think, for parts of Camden County and St. Clair, Hickory, and up to Polk County, seeing heavy rain last 24 hours from rain and storms this morning, obviously, and then an additional 1, 2, maybe 3 inches of rain that came through tonight. All right, so multiple rounds of heavy rain going on this morning and tonight across parts of central Missouri. But put it all together, Osceola, Hermitage, Bolivar, Buffalo, anywhere up there in that 4-county area, may have seen 4, 5, 6 inches of rain from today and tonight alone.
Tom, let me give you an update because things have been
Yes.
progressing better in Missouri. We're thinking we can wrap up these tornado warnings. Not the case for Arkansas. New tornado warning issued for Carroll County, Arkansas. That rotation is going to be digging a little bit more southeasterly rather than easterly. So that is a new tornado warning that we have at this time in Carroll County, Arkansas. That was just issued.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Eureka Springs, Berryville, Green Forest, Rule, and eventually down to Osage. Looking at a tornado risk now as this storm is kind of, again, just working our way down further the line. This is where that boundary is. That's what we're going to be watching out for as the night progresses into Sunday morning. So looking at the tornado warning from Beaver Lake area. We got a camera down at Beaver Lake. How's that looking out for us? Eureka Springs, Berryville, Green Forest, and Rule. The circulation area would be right here, okay? Right there. So it'll be south and east of Garfield, south of Bush, southwest of Beaver, and just a few miles to the southwest of Eureka Springs itself. North of Clifty, getting ready to cross Highway 23 in Arkansas over the next 5-10 minutes or so. All right, so there we go. There's the latest tornado warning being issued there. This activity here coming out of Berry County into Stone County. Strong damaging winds, 70 miles an hour. Cape Fear, Galena, LC Crane. Tornado risk is fading. It's not zero. You might still find some weak spin-ups here, especially near Highway 76 in Missouri, just to the west of Cape Fear. But generally, circulation's weakened. It's turning into more of a straight line damaging wind event, moving out of Berry County into Stone County, practically up and down the entire county line. Okay. As we zoom back in south here again, we did have that new tornado warning in Carroll County. That includes Berryville, Eureka Springs, and Green Forest, and that would be right there. This is a very sparsely populated. Eureka Springs, Beaver Lake is actually, they've got a lot of homes down there. But once you get past that, once you get out here, Rule, Osage, this is all very rural area, which is good news. Good news when you're dealing with storms and tornadoes. Let's take a look at radar again and show you a bit of what we're looking at. So a bit of a breather on here, some form mouth trying to get together, a little bit of a notch right there. That's where your circulation is, that little part that juts out, okay? And so your winds here, again, are running more from the south and southwest, almost perpendicular to where the storm front is blowing in. So you have the storm front. See if I can do this right here. So there you have it, like we'll do it this way. There's your storm front, okay? And the winds out of that storm are going to be blowing in this way from the south, from the northwest, okay? So your orientation is like a T on wind. You have wind coming from the south and southwest, wind coming from the north and northwest on this side, and they form kind of that T shape for you. And that's where you're finding more of those little spin-up circulations for us. Latest scan places it now to near Highway 23, a little bit to the east of Highway 23, south of Eureka Springs, heading towards State Highway 221, south of Berryville. Okay, turn on the velocity. Let's see how that is updated for us. Okay, so still a very weak sign of rotation, but some rotation there nonetheless. This is south of Eureka Springs by probably 3 or 4 miles, and then you get to just to the east now, Highway 23, heading towards Highway 221 in Arkansas. Sparsely populated area, but it is heading off towards Rule, off towards Osage. Berryville is technically included in this, and I wouldn't rule myself out as in Berryville, because what we've seen with these storms so far that have had these little circulations in them is we've seen them take more of a northerly to a northeast track as they've moved eastward. So it may try to occlude up the line some as it moves to the east. Okay, so Berryville, I wouldn't put yourself in the clear yet for that main circulation we're watching on the tornado risk here.
Tom, if I can, that circulation's on Lone Star. So to kind of help people picture, Eureka Springs Zip Line is in that area. They have an adventure park in that area. Quigley Castle is roughly that area along Highway 23 that we're seeing this rotation, that we're seeing if there is a tornado on the ground, that's where it would be, kind of into that Lone Star area. So just south of Eureka Springs, I think most of the circulation is going to go south of the town, and then you mentioned earlier, it is going to try to move on. And people in Berryville, I would also be getting into shelter at this time because it looks like it wants to go south of Berryville, but it's a little bit too close for me to say, you know, I wouldn't worry about it. It's you should be getting into shelter if you're in Berryville, if you're in Eureka Springs, especially south of Eureka Springs near Lone Star. That's the main area that we're seeing this rotation.
I would agree. Yeah, don't count yourself in the clear just quite yet for folks over in the Berryville area. All right, let's take a look now, see what we got coming on. This is we're going to do a storm track here for us, and this tornado is moving to the east at 50 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and do a little cone track and get you where it's going. So there's your notch. Moving to the, they say moving to the east at 50 miles an hour.
East at 50.
Let's turn that up here then a little bit. That's kind of outside the box. We'll take it over to Alpena. Okay, so Berryville 1240. Got 10 minutes in Berryville, and I would include Berryville in there. I think Matt and I both said that. Cisco, 1245, 1249, Green Forest, 1254, Coyne, 1258, Alpena. Okay, so that's your storm track of where that circulation area will be going to. So Berryville's up next, 1240. Again, it's all very sparsely populated down here, but people do live here, obviously, especially in Berryville, parts of central Carroll County. Cisco, 1245, Green Forest 1249. So anywhere from 10 to about 20 minutes down the line towards Alpena of where we're going to see that circulation go. Granted, it holds together. Now, again, what we've seen with these little circulations that have been embedded within that storm surge is that as they move east, they fade away. If we look back up into Missouri now, all those tornado warnings, they've been allowed to expire as they move into Stone County, because they moved northward away from the boundary into a more stable or less favorable environment for tornadoes. Still favorable for damaging winds, don't get me wrong. Folks in Galena to Branson and Branson West, you're going to find some damaging winds of 70 miles an hour move in. But, you know, as you look at the tornado risk, that kind of fades away. So we're going to be watching this part of the storm probably all night tonight, or as long as we can, as long as it's in our viewing area, as this kind of bowing segment here continues to track to the east and to the south and southeast. We'll be watching this eastern side for those circulations, as that's the area that's kind of hugging the boundary we have in place. And that boundary, by the way, is what's left over from the rain and storms we had this morning. It's an outflow boundary, and it's still left over here. And those boundaries can sometimes get the dynamics right to where we get enough spin, winds go in different directions. There's not a lot of wind energy out there, but there's just enough at the surface level and in the mid-levels to get those little circulations for us as the storm complex blows on through. So Eureka Springs to Berryville, eventually over towards Alpena if it keeps moving to the east. It's going to be in line for that little area of circulation. Again, it's all very weak winds, weak energy, but there is a tornado warning there for that circulation. Okay, they continue the tornado warning until 1 a.m. at least for parts of Carroll County in the red shaded area there. And Matt, I believe they just issued a thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag across southern Missouri.
That's a good change because obviously we had a tornado warning storms in going across kind of the state line in Missouri. That has now been downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. So National Weather Service still watching this. They're not ready to kind of rule out the impossibility of a tornado for tonight, but things have progressed in the right direction over the last, 20 minutes?
I'd say so. That's exactly right. So it's a good call. by the Weather Service, as it's still, might see some spin-up stuff maybe, but nothing confident enough to issue a full-blown tornado warning. But still some pretty damaging winds moving into Crane, LC, Galena, Cape Fear, and eventually Reed Spring and Branson West and Kimberling City. Going to find some strong to damaging winds here of 60 to 70. I'd lean more towards 70 miles an hour in that stout part of the storm. As we zoom back in down to the south, the parts of Carroll County, this will clip a bit of Madison County. Okay, clip a little bit of Madison County with damaging winds. We're going to keep things going here. It's now between Highway 23 and Highway 221. And parts of Carroll County to the south of Eureka Springs. There's area circulation. And it's moving to the east at about 50 miles an hour. So it's going maybe just to the south of Berryville. But again, like I've seen with those other circulations, they do tend to move to the north and northeast. So I wouldn't be surprised if on the next scan, if it would be located around here somewhere, just to the east or to the west, that is, of Berryville. Probably going to end up being about right there, okay, closer to 221, right before it starts taking that north to south journey, where it starts to take the from west to south, right there in that notch, but that's kind of where it'll show up here later on. But Berryville to Green Forest, down the line, okay, south of Eureka Springs, probably southeast of Eureka Springs, of a couple miles by now. But tornado warning continues in parts of Carroll County. That's the only one we got right now. If we zoom out, we got storm warnings coming into Springfield now. Let's focus on where we are now. Rain and storms, lightning, some wind, some damaging winds of maybe 60 miles an hour moving into Springfield. Heavy rain too, and there has been a flood hazard with that heavy rain as it moves on through, as we've seen our fair share of heavy rain last week. And yeah, that storm line, though, the most severe part of it is not in Springfield. We're seeing winds of 60 occasionally. But the biggest part of the storm is going to be down south of Highway 60, Stone County, Christian County, Taney County, as that storm line moving into Galena to Branson West. As that moves in, there'll be some pretty strong damaging winds. Also, some pretty damaging winds from Fayetteville to Huntsville. Strong wind threat there. And also into Carroll County from Berryville, all right, to Rule and Green Forest and Lone Star area. You're going to find, some damaging winds as well as that tornado risk. Okay, got the latest scan here coming in. Let's take a look at it. All right. There we go. Now it looks more promising. That's washed out by quite a ways, but the circulation is actually moving a bit more to the south and southeast. So it was kind of near Highway 23, right near the emblem there, so about 3 miles or so south of Eureka Springs on Highway 23. And it's kind of kept more of an east to a southeast track. So here's Berryville. It might be staying 2-3 miles south of Berryville. But if you're in Berryville, I'd be getting indoors for sure. Get inside, interior part of the home, a closet, bathroom, a shelter if you've got one. That's why I'd be sure in Berryville. Windy, otherwise, heavy rain, a lot of lightning too. It's going to keep on moving to the east and southeast towards Rule and Green Forest. Probably more east as it moves that way. So Green Forest, probably next up in the line of fire, as well as Rule as it continues to move to the east and southeast. Now getting close to the Highway 221 corridor, eventually going towards the Highway 21 coming out of Berryville southward. All right, let's see. Matt, anything else coming on? What are you noticing?
Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on power outages. The number in Jasper County last time we looked was 8,800. Just looked again now, it's 9,400. So almost 10,000 people in Jasper County without power. Berry County seen about 400 people without power, and I imagine this is underestimating the amount of people that don't have power at this time. I haven't heard of anyone, or rather this website I've been using says people in Lawrence County, everyone has power, but I know that's not true with kind of the reports I've been hearing on the ground. So power outage still continues to be a main threat. Seeing power lines that are down in Butterfield as well. That's just coming into me right now with the fire department in that area. So I'm hearing power lines down on Highway 37 and Highway U in Butterfield. So want to stress again, if you see power lines down, best thing to do is just to call authorities and turn around, go another direction. People are losing power because of this storm. A positive part, Tom, is looking at the bigger picture. If we take a step back, really over the last, we've been doing tornado coverage for about an hour now, if not longer, and the general trend is this storm is getting weaker. And as these thunderstorms get to the east side of Highway 65, I think the chance of seeing something severe, seeing something tornadic, will really start to decrease. Even if what we're seeing in Missouri, we're still seeing good organized thunderstorms that are moving to the Springfield area, the Willard area, the Republic area right now, but this is not as strong as what it was a couple hours ago. These storms are starting to run out of gas, which is good news, especially for the people that live east of Highway 65. If you're watching from Texas County or from West Plains or Webster, right, and you're wondering what's coming your way, you're still going to have these thunderstorms. I just don't think they're going to be as strong as what we've dealt with. So your chances of you losing power, probably not as good as kind of what the people have experienced earlier over the last hour, as the system is starting to run out of gas. It's starting to weaken and starting to get pushed out of our area as well, Tom.
That's a good point. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, looking at the instability levels, you can see they're pretty low across the area. Okay, and that's the trend. It's been getting weaker. So let's go ahead and time lapse this a little bit on the instability. We can see that, yeah, a little stronger earlier on. Then the reds go away. The reds faded away. Even the yellows starting to shrink down just a little bit. As we're starting to see the instability levels kind of fall off, if you will, as we continue to go into the evening. And they weren't really all that high to begin with across parts, central Missouri and then down to the southeast. Once you got south of I-44, instability really starts to kind of go away. So there is that weakening trend as we run into a less favorable environment. There's also what we call CIN, that's C-I-N, convective inhibition. And that's kind of the energy to stop thunderstorms from forming. And that's pretty high right now, too. If you know anything about CIN, C-I-N, value is now about negative 200 to 250, which is pretty high, okay? So there you go for the weather nerds out there. Now you've learned something today. Looking at Berryville, okay, and this is now out of Eureka Springs. Eureka Springs, you're in the clear from the tornado risk. Still heavy rain, lightning, and some fast winds probably. South of Green Forest to Rule, okay. Seeing that circulation broaden out some like we've seen, but it'd be about right here. Okay, so from Highway 221 over towards Highway 21, okay, coming out of Berryville to the south and southwest of Berryville. Probably going to be getting closer to Highway 21 now in Arkansas, south of Berryville. That's where you're going to find that tornado potential. You're going to find some pretty strong winds in here too. So Berryville, you're probably dealing with those stronger winds right now. And I don't think I've seen any reports come out of there. Let's see.
I have not.
No.
And a good update is the National Weather Service office in Tulsa. They're the ones responsible for this tornado warning in Berryville. They're saying rotation. They're seeing it going broader. What I'm seeing, I agree with them too, is this looks like it's getting weaker, not stronger. So that's the general trend as well with this rotation south of Berryville, starting to get stretched out. And just like a figure skater, if you stretch your arms out, you're going to slow down rather than when you have it tight, and that's the best chance to have a tornado. So hoping we can kind of wrap this up, and if things can progress down that area, this threat of a tornado is really starting to decrease as well. So another positive change there.
I think you're right. Thank you, Matt. Yes, like the Weather Service in Tulsa saying for this storm in northern Arkansas, it's weakening. And we can see that too, right? It's pretty broad, kind of messy right now south of Berryville. I'll show you what it was before this as we zoom out and back it up. Go to where it really got a little stronger. So they prompted the warning about right there. So you can notice this. This was the area of circulation, the rotation spot that prompted that tornado warning right there when it was just to the southwest of Eureka Springs by about 4 or 5 miles or so. That's what started the whole thing with this warning in Carroll County. Watch that spot, just to the south of Eureka Springs. We advance forward a little bit. Next scan still kind of showed, yeah, some, but weakening. And the latest scan now, I believe, yeah, broadens out even more washed out, which is fine. We'll take a washed out old circulation over a tightening trend. We don't like that at all. Okay, our friends up in Stone County got some damaging winds coming through. Looks like Reeds Spring, 2 Reeds, 1 Spring, Branson West, Silver City, and Kimberly City. Going to find some damaging winds coming through there. Let's do It's a multi-step process here just to get the wind speeds. Got to do a scope to clear the things on top. And then we got to do a query and take a look at those wind speeds. They'll probably be 60, I bet, maybe 70. Okay, 53, 50. Let's make one more in there. 40. Okay. All right, so there might even be a weakening trend from the wind as well. Down from 70, probably at most, probably close to 60 now with Stone County.
The National Weather Service, they're looking at the thunderstorms that are on top of Greene County right now, and they're saying, hey, we're not even thinking about issuing a downstream severe thunderstorm warning from this. So that's another positive change. These storms are starting to really run out of gas. You're talking about the instability. There's less fuel for these storms, and so there's still going to be some thunderstorms. There's still going to be rain, but the word severe, probably not as much as we progress throughout tonight.
That's a good point. Yes, thank you, Matt. Yeah, storms are weakening. They're coming down, and okay, really. So the last 10 minutes we've had two. Oh, here we go. Data's being slow. I was going to say we don't have a whole lot of lightning out there, but okay.
A little bit more than two.
A little bit more than two. Yeah, I was like, I just heard some here. Okay. So lightning counts are at 172. Let's go ahead and you just have to visualize this. Let's time. I don't know if you can time lapse it or not with lightning. You can a little bit. Well, maybe not that much. Lightning trends typically are a sign of weakening storms. So if you have lightning that gets more frequent, your storm's getting stronger. If your lightning is going away, becoming less and less lightning, your storm is weakening. Okay? And so it looks like lightning is, well, if you look at the one in Carroll County, there's not a whole lot of lightning down in Carroll County. Some, but not a huge amount. And again, the instability levels down in Carroll County are pretty low. They're dropping. Like we saw, instability is starting to get a little lower. They continued. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So that you're thinking, why didn't they just continue that over to Boone County? Well, because this is the this is the Tulsa Weather Office in Carroll County. Boone County is the Little Rock office. So two different National Weather Service offices responsible for issuing those warnings across the county. So they're going to hold the tornado warning in Carroll County from Rule to Osage and Alpena and Green Forest. Okay, we'll take a look at the latest scan here in a second. And the Little Rock office that takes care of Boone County and Harrison, Arkansas, has not decided to carry on the tornado warning at this time. We'll see how this develops. They're probably going to wait for the next scan as well to make that decision later on. So let's take a look at the velocity. And this has really faded away. It's really weakened a lot. This is now going to be south and west of Green Forest, but just to the east of Highway 21 and State Highway 103, back to the west of there, from Green Forest to Rule. But right there is where you're going to find the leftover circulation, leftover rotation, right in there. Okay, this is now to the south and southeast of Berryville and the south and southwest of Green Forest and the Rule area. Okay, so zooming on out. Yeah, this is the last game in town. Kind of still a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag as that messy storm comes out of Stone County and now gets into the bulk of Christian County and Taney County. From Branson West to Reed Spring to Branson to Highlandville. Nixon, Ozark, might see some gusty winds, but you're on the northern edge of the most stronger parts. And that storm risk will also continue over to Garrison. But again, there's a weakening trend as that storm line runs into a less favorable environment. All right, let's zoom on out. I think the one thing we've got is that tornado warning down in Carroll County. All right. Okay, it's been trimmed off a little bit. The Carroll County tornado warning is moving to the boy, they buried it in here, didn't they? East at 40 miles an hour. Okay. A little track on that real quick. So here we go. Looking at that storm cluster tornado possible signature just near Rule. We'll do a little cone track here for us. Right about right there. Moving east at 40 miles an hour. So there we go. We'll take it over to that intersection of 65 and I believe 412. Coin 101. 105 in Alpena, and 111 in Batavia. All right, that's over in Boone County, just outside of Harrison. All right, so there you go. There's a little timeline for you. Turn back on velocity. It has weakened by quite a lot. Quite a lot of weakening here. There's not really much left over. Okay, here's something. This is, well, Shady Grove. Okay, that's more towards northwest Arkansas. High wind reported. Okay, yeah. Look, anything else coming in? No. Weather Service here in Springfield saying that the Berry County, northeast parts of Berry County may still see 60-mile-an-hour winds behind the main front. Okay, so this is what they're looking at, the little bright colored spot. You could still find some gusty winds from Highway 265 and Highway, well, I guess it's Highway 39, from Aurora to Jenkins. You may find some gustier winds in between there. That'll go towards Crane and Elsie and once again Hurley. Not tornadic, maybe just some gustier wind pocket of 50 to 60 miles an hour over the next 30 minutes or so. Looking up and down the line, though, don't see much else out there. Still some strong lines near the state line from Blue Eye, Dogwood Canyon. All right, good place to go. Omaha in northern Boone County, Lowry, Diamond City, near the state line, southern Taney County. May find some stronger winds there. Okay, so this is kind of like the Table Rock Lake area. You're going to find the winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour, probably closer to 60 at this point as the storm strength starts to come down for us. Matt, anything you'd like to contribute or say?
Yeah.
I'm kind of running out of words to say on my side.
The big thing right now is these storms are starting to roll into a more stable environment. It's going to be harder for them to produce a tornado, harder for them to produce severe weather. And as we start to, we still have this tornado warning in Arkansas, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings in Missouri as well. But once we get past the threat of thunderstorms, it's the threat that we had for Sunday and Monday of all the rain that has been left behind. Flash flood warnings have been issued in multiple places. I'll try to highlight some of those that have really been the strongest. Northern Polk County, Hickory County, St. Clair County, flash flood warning in place where somewhere between 5 inches to half a foot of rain has been dumped. This is throughout the day, the last 24 hours. So we had rain to start the day off, and then they got piled with even more rain right now. So saturated soils, you add even more rain on top of it, that's going to cause some concerns. And I know we're hitting June, and it's the time people like to get out on the lake, get out on the rivers. Water is going to be running very high with the amount of rain that we've seen. So that's one area of concern that we have. Kind of in northern Polk County, even places in Buffalo, we have radar estimated of half a foot of rain could be possible as well. Jasper County, Dade County, Barton County, that's another area that is under another flash flood warning where not as much as half a foot, but somewhere between maybe 4 to 5 inches of rain has continued to pour into that area. So in Springfield, let me get the official total for what we have gotten here at the station. A little more than 1 inch with still more rain that's happening right now. So we're just getting the rain in Springfield, and we still have more to come in Springfield as well. And we're already sitting with our rain gauge at 1 inch for today. So rain is going to be another factor. I know the tornadoes, the flashy part, the hail and the lightning and the thunder is the flashy part of severe weather, but flooding is another concern that we have, especially with how much water that we have gotten over the last couple weeks. More is going to be getting piled on top of us for that as well. So that's a threat that's going to really linger throughout the storm, especially if we can't fully get this rain to shut down. Positive part is I think this tornado opportunity is starting to wrap up. We were just watching this one tornado warning that's occurring over in Carroll County. The Little Rock office not really wanting to extend this tornado warning into parts of Boone County, Arkansas. So if you are watching from Harrison, you're going to get some pretty good thunderstorms that rolled in, but hopefully it's just a thunderstorm and we don't have this tornado threat as well. Fast winds are going to be another factor where we can get gusts between, I'd say maybe up to 60 miles per hour in Harrison. So if you are watching in Harrison, if you're wondering what's going to be up for you, be patient, and these thunderstorms are going to roll in, and maybe for the people in Harrison who are trying to sleep, it may wake you up pretty soon as well. So only one tornado warning at this moment. That expires in, I believe, 8 minutes at 1 o'clock. So hopefully we don't see anything else tighten up, and I'm going to let you guys get back to regular programming if things continue on the trend that they have been, Tom.
All right, thank you, Matt. Good update. Okay, so looking at, yeah, just like Matt was saying, the one tornado warning we have in the area is across Carroll County, and it's weakened significantly. And it was weak to begin with, but still enough to get that tornado warning out of it. I would say rightfully so. Rotation element out of this, you can see tracking down, really just kind of washes out, right? So it looked a little bit more defined there. You had some, low-level rotation there near Eureka Springs and Bush and kind of near the Beaver Lake area. But as it moved from the northwest to the southeast, you notice there the rotation strength really just starts to fade away. And now there's not much left over of it. And we can also take a look at, I believe, the tops. This will be height of storms. Let's put that on there. Let's see how that's changed. So you can see the cloud heights, the tops of the thunderstorms. This is based on satellite, up in space. So pretty good view there. Generally about 40,000 feet or so right now. Pretty tall, but let's see, that's probably a downward trend of what it was earlier on. Yes, that is a downward trend, absolutely it is. So you saw those darker colors here coming out of southwest Missouri when we had the strong winds of 70 and 80 miles an hour and a couple more tornado warnings out of that. It's all weekend, right? So you had the darker colors represents anywhere from 50 to 60,000 feet. That's those cloud tops are 50,000 feet tall or more from surface to way up there. So way above airline height of 35,000 feet or so. So real tall storms, strong thunderstorms, 50,000 feet up in the sky. Now we're looking more at like 40,000, 35 to 40,000 feet is the storm height in the atmosphere. So yeah, these storms are falling apart. As they do, the wind risk is still going to be there. Still going to hang on to that.
If we can we go over to Max 2 real quick?
Looks like I got expired the tornado warning,
the downtown camera. So you're seeing flashes of lightning in Springfield. You're seeing sheets of rain as well. What you guys just missed was I watched one guy run across this downtown square trying to get out of the rain. But this is what's currently happening in Springfield. Very good, consistent rain. And I even want to focus a little bit more on the square itself. And you can start to see some water ponding up. The rainfall rates are intense. Our rain gauge at the station, Tom, is estimating 4 inches of rain per hour on the rainfall rate. So absolutely pouring, coming down very consistently right now, and flashes of lightning as well. So in Springfield, I want to really stress, not seeing anything tornadic. The National Weather Service has even removed the severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect in Springfield as well. So just a very good soaking of rain, lightning on top of that, not seeing any hail, but there are some still gusty winds as this is moving through really the metro area in Missouri right now.
Yeah, that's a good view. You're saying 4 inches per hour, and I'd believe it based on that camera shot. I mean, you can see it blowing around, those rain curtains just kind of blowing, whipping around. There's heavy rain coming down in buckets in Springfield right now. Okay, taking a look now at this tornado warning in Carroll County. The Weather Service in Tulsa is saying they were going to allow this to expire at 1 o'clock this morning, so about another 2.5 minutes. That warning will, 3.5 minutes, that warning will expire for us and we'll be good. So they're not going to extend that into Boone County. The Little Rock office will not be taking that warning further down the line for us. And I'd say rightfully so. Looking at rotation, we can see that, yeah, there's not much left over. A little bit of wind, yeah, sure, here and there, but not a lot. Maybe some damaging winds of 60 miles an hour still. But the trend over the last hour has been a weakening trend, and we'll take that. That's good news, right? Okay, so let's take a look at other parts of the area. We're looking at rainfall rates and heavy rain. Let's turn the radar back on. Okay, and we do have a lot of rain coming in on top of areas that have seen a lot of rain over the past several weeks. Not just this week or last week, but the week before that we had rain too. And we had drought, now we don't. So that's kind of the situation we've been in for this spring. But heavy rain from Waynesville, Fort Wood, St. Robert, over towards Rolla, Lebanon, Phillipsburg, Marshfield, Strafford. You're going to find some heavy rain and storms blowing in. Not severe, but we saw on the Springfield Square camera, heavy rain could probably going to cause some flood problems, not just here in Springfield, but also up and down the I-44 corridor. So. And any plans to travel to, say, St. Louis tomorrow morning should be fine. A lot of the floodwaters probably subsided by then. Looking at northern Arkansas from Huntsville to Berryville, also dealing with that heavy rain blowing in. The main storm line has been following what we call the instability axis. And so instability is highest western Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma. And so that wind surge is going to continue to press southward. But even then, it's a weakening trend, but still finding winds of 70 miles an hour coming through Fayetteville, eventually working their way towards I-40 from Fort Smith over towards the parts of Sallisaw, down I-40 and Oklahoma and all that kind of stuff. And otherwise, back up here, north central Arkansas, southern Missouri, things clearing away for us. I think that's probably about all I've got to say about this, Matt. Anything you feel to add or want to point out before we hang things up?
It's going to be a nice day tomorrow. Let's just say that. Temperatures in the 70s. This cold front is not fun because it's producing the storms, but will be a whole lot nicer tomorrow. Temperatures into the 70s, a little bit more sunshine by the time we finish the day off. But I do want to stress, if you're watching from somewhere east of Highway 65, kind of the eastern portion of our viewing area, let's say you're watching from Mountain Home, Arkansas, West Plains, Mountain Grove, Texas County, I'm expecting thunderstorms to come your way, but the opportunity for them to be severe, for them to be nasty, for them to become tornadic, that window's really starting to shut at this time. So I think everyone is going to see rain for today, but not everyone's going to see the strong storms that we've had over the last hour or so, Tom.
Probably not. Let's go ahead. Oops, my mistake. Let's go ahead and take the square camera if we can. The data's slow here. I'm sorry. I pulled it up at the wrong time. Bad timing on my part. If we can pull up the square camera at some point, let's do that because it is really impressive. It is a great looking shot for you from the square as they're dealing with, again, a lot of blowing. Okay. All right, let's take Max 2 real quick. Let's take a look at it. Blowing rain, blinding rain if you're going to be leaving. I don't know, maybe you're going out to Hertz Donuts or something at 1 o'clock this morning. Or Bucky's Run, always in favor of Midnight Bucky's Run. This is what you're going into, right? Heavy rain, blowing around. It's windy. There probably will be some minor tree damage in Springfield. There always is when you have any kind of thunderstorm blow through, but nothing too widespread. God, look at that. That is just insane.
Rainfall rates now up to 4.5 inches per hour, Tom. And
I mean,
this
that's
is why we're
crazy.
seeing so much flooding concerns. It is just buckets getting dumped. The trees getting whipped around as well.
Yeah. That is crazy. That's a crazy shot. Man, look at the wind just blowing across the square. Yeah, heavy rain for sure. There might be a few puddles in the yards and muddy spots, of course, just getting refilled with more rain. And man, really heavy rain coming down. 4.5 inches per hour rain rate. That's really high, to say the least. In terms of weather, that's a really high rain rate for us. All right, so we'll go ahead and take back on Max 1 here, and I'll wrap this up for us real quick. So we've got rain and storms going through the area, some flooding taking place to the west and northwest. Probably going to find some flood concerns minor across the Springfield metro area for the time being. Severe storm warning continues across southern Missouri, fading away there. Stronger storms blowing through parts of Madison County and Washington County, and those are also blowing southward and should clear our area. I think for the time being, we're going to go ahead and jump off of here. We've had a few tornado warnings. That is all faded away. It's a weakening trend. All right, so that is good news. Heavy rain, lightning, and thunder, but the severe risk steadily fades away. That'll be all for us now. Have a good night. Sleep easy.
This is an Ozarks First severe weather update.